This is an interesting take for me because it's not really something I am interested in, but I wanted to talk about this because I have to admit I do feel a little bit bad for this whole situation, and of course it's involving Concord. Now, if you're in the gaming community, you know about Concord, but for those that might not be too familiar with it, it is a PlayStation exclusive promoted by Sony. It is a live service game, and it is a team arena shooter, which that in and of itself should have been a red flag for Sony, because team arena shooters have become way too oversaturated, and really the only one that I still know that people will play routinely is Overwatch 2 to be precise. And I still hear the murmurings of some Team Fortress 2 action, but yeah, right from the get-go when they showed off Concord, people were not very excited about it. Nobody seemed interested in it. And now that it has released recently, we've had an opportunity to see some of the numbers, and they are abysmal, to put it politely. Because you see, a live service game lives and dies by the player base that is currently playing the game. And I think Concord's live service has been terrible. I've seen reports that, the highest count over the weekend? And bear in mind, this game just recently released, like last week or something like that. It was at its top current peak player count, it was less than 700. Less than 700. I think all-time player count was at 1,200 or something like that. I mean, it is really, really low. And we're talking about a lot of live service games that have come out this year that haven't performed nearly to the hopes and expectations of publishers. But even games like Suicide Squad, which is unanimously not approved of by anybody, still got 10 times the amount of numbers that Concord got. And this is an L, man. This is a huge L when you consider that there's also been reports that Concord took over $100 million to make. This is not looking or shaping up to be this is going to be a big flop for Sony, and it actually, you would think at least that I would be happy about this, and on one hand, I'll admit I'm a little bit happy because I'm not a fan, I'll admit, of live service games. They've never been really my cup of tea. I don't like what they've done to the video game industry in terms of monetization practices. I think they've kind of made a lot of games a lot more toxic in that regard than they needed to be. But having said all of that, while it might be good because this will send a message to Sony that people don't want the same gobbledygook live service games that we keep getting year after year, it seems like month after month. On the other hand, I have to admit, I just feel really, really bad for the Concord team. Because there was something here that was also reported on, and I could see exactly what went wrong here. Concord took 8 years to develop. 8 entire years. And if you go back 8 years from now, you know what was really, really popular and won the Game of the Year in 2016? Because that was 8 years ago. It was Overwatch, a team arena shooter. So you could kind of see where Sony was getting at. They saw the success of Overwatch and they wanted to replicate that success. The problem is that you're trying to play catch up and not be creative yourself, and if you're going to do a team arena shooter, you gotta do something that really stands out, and unfortunately Concord just looked like Overwatch with a Guardians of the Galaxy skin pasted across it. But picture this for a second, man. You're developing this game and you're on the Concord dev team. Let's say you put who knows how much time in there, 6, 7, 8 years of your life. We're talking people that spent 8 years of their lives developing Concord, trying to make it the best game possible. And as this development's going along, you know that they're aware they're up against a gigantic mountain, basically, with the oversaturation of live service games and team arena shooters and trying to carve out your own identity, and Overwatch just having all of that success. And year after year, you're going by and you can see where the trends are going, and you know that your game is almost destined to fail right from the get-go. But picture being one of those people that developed this game, and for 8 years of your life you try to make it the best game possible, and you want to take something positive and to show for your work to say, hey, but I was able to do this and look what happened for this. You had any positives at all, and then this releases to abysmal, terrible numbers. It's not selling well. Not to mention that they priced it at $40, where Overwatch 2 and a lot of other games that are Team Arena shooters, mind you, are free to play. It was destined to fail, and I just feel really bad for the development team because they probably knew it was going to fail 4 years ago. It's one of those things that even if you're developing a game and you're doing your best, you could just see the way that a publisher is handling it, and it gives you an inclination as to how successful the game's going to be. And this is one of those cases because, like I said, you're charging $40 for a game that's typically coming out now as a free-to-play title. Plus, you are trying to copy Overwatch, which has been done to hell and beyond at this point. Plus, nobody asked this, and plus it's Sony, who's supposed to be known for high-quality single-player titles, and it's just, that's gotta suck. That's gotta be so defeating. Like, I know I should be, like, celebrating, and everybody's just ragging on Concord, and it's easy to do, and understandably so, not knocking anybody for doing it, but I just wanted to say I'm really sorry to the development team, man, because that's gotta suck. That's gotta be rough. I would hate to spend 8 years on a project that I knew probably from the get-go it was going to fail. I mean, I know you want to make a paycheck, but at the same time, I mean, game developers are there in this field and in this business because they have a passion for video games. And something like this is just, it's soul-crushing, man. It's soul-crushing. Let's just hope that everybody at the Concord development team is okay from this. I'm pretty certain a game that flops this hard could definitely see some more people getting laid off, which is something that we don't really need in this industry right now. We're seeing so much of that as it is already this year. And let's hope Sony really learns a lesson that we don't need all of these live service games and to not be a trend chaser. Do what you do best, Sony. Make those single player games. Make the God of Wars. Make this upcoming Astrobot game that's going to sell millions of units. I guarantee it. You know, just focus on what you're good at, Sony. You don't always have to be a trend chaser. You don't have to do all this live service stuff. If you want to do it every so often, that's fine. But this is a good wake-up call for Sony, and my heart, again, it goes out to the Concord development team. I really legitimately feel bad for them because I know what it's like to spend 8 years and not see any success that you were hoping to see by this point. So believe me, I get that. Have you seen my YouTube channel? That was the weirdest laugh, by the way, ever. Genuine, but weird coming out of my mouth. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this whole Concord situation. Do you like it? Do you not like it? All that good stuff. And yeah, hopefully this Concord development team hopefully they're doing okay. Like mentally, I hope you're okay, guys. And as always, that's it for me. I am Bradley Overrated, out like a trout. Glory to mankind, and I will see you next time. Take care.